I think one of the things I am grateful to God about is consistency. I was consistent in what I was doing, no matter then it wasn't so much. I mean, just little. Then along the line, I realized that I could if I could be more serious with this thing that looked like a hobby, then I could gain much from it. So I became consistent, and being consistent helped me a lot. I didn't know much about marketing and all that, but my few clients kept me going as long as I was consistent, because some will come a month later and the questions were almost similar. Do you still do cards? I'm like, in my mind I was like, whoa, you expected me to stop? So I didn't know. It's later that I realized that not everyone is consistent, especially if it's something that started out as a hobby and they weren't really employed. So one of the things I learned as I maintained consistency, the demand increased. And so I was not able to do this thing by myself. There was need for me to bring other people on board, have employees. I remember the first employees I had my first set of employees back then when I was still in campus. So of course I employed my fellow students to help me out. Then another thing I have to appreciate for is boldness. Sometimes when in doing whatever you're doing in life, it's also important for you to be bold, and bold enough to believe in the dreams that you have. No one else has the responsibility to believe in those dreams except you. And you see, if no one else believes in your dream, you can't blame them. They don't understand your dream the way you understand it. As a matter of fact, they can't envision it the way you envision it. You're the only one who has that vision. So it's important for you to be bold in what you believe in and bold to execute your dream. So back in campus, when I started out and the demand increased, I remember I knew that I needed to add more people. But the business hadn't grown that much. So I asked myself, what do I need to do? I'll need to conduct interviews. So I placed an advert. Then Gigi was called OLX, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Gigi was not Gigi as it is. So we had free platforms where you could place an advert. So I took advantage. So I went to OLX, or should we say Gigi. I placed my ad there. So amongst the people who applied were fellow students. Of course, we had other people from graduates from Daystar, and I remember one remarkable one. A lady from Daystar came for the interview. And where was the interview? Where was school? In KU. So I couldn't afford a better place. So I decided I will use the resources I have to execute the dream that I have. So I decided not to be limited by what I didn't have at that moment. So I did the interview. They came. So some were graduates. Of course, I felt intimidated. But it is what it is. I did my interview. And then, with interviews, after the interview, the interviewer, you can decide who to call, who to tell that they have succeeded and who they've not succeeded. So I picked I picked the people I wanted. Of course, I picked the ones who were still in school, because those were the ones I could work with at that time.